Jokesters of Reddit, what is your favorite prank way to answer a phone call from an unknown number? Answer this call may be monitored and recording for training purposes, and then just sit there until they hang up. I found a new way to answer the phone. I don't answer unknown calls on my cell, but back in the day when I had a landline, when salespeople would ask, "Hello Mr. Fludget, how are you doing today?" I'd answer, "Rug, not good." They'd respond with, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that," and try to go into their sales pitch, but it'd launch into a sad story about my wife leaving me for the neighbor, taking the kids, my car catching on fire. Basically it'd keep them on the phone until they hung up on me. Good times. I used to work reception at an office and I loved playing around with the cold calls. If I could get them to hang up on me, that was the best. I've pretended to not know what ours was and had them explain the concept to me. They were a payroll automation company. They hung up on me when I asked what a paycheck was. One asked what the serial code was on my printer, so I left them on hold while I looked until they hung up. When they called back, I told them we didn't have any printers. I told Simit sales guy that we didn't have it, or anyone who worked on the computers ever. They were just super old, like from before I was born. I kinda miss it, TBH. I could describe my life to them, but then they'd probably commit suicide. 911 What's your emergency? I worked at a Walmart a while back, and I was covering the dressing rooms, so I basically just sit there and answer a couple calls while letting people into them to try on clothes. One time I got a call and answer it as I do with the normal spiel about them calling Walmart. Then right after I finish, the person says, 911 what's your emergency? I was so confused for a second, but tried explaining they had called me, not the other way around, but they just said, "Please don't call 911 if there's not an emergency." Like, this was the shrillest thing I've heard all day. So I just hung up then, and the rest of the night was hoping the police didn't show up. This takes prank calling to the next level. I have got to use this. Good evening. Thanks for calling. You have subscribed to Bat Facts. Some bats are actually so large we call them flying foxes. Next fact will be wafted to you in 15 minutes. To unsubscribe from Bat Facts, please phone Earl on 555 to 7856. I spent like 5 minutes trying to comment an office quote, but you know what I'm just going to say it: rune expect edifice also, redundamaflin. Ask for impossible things and never give my real info. It's always a scam call. They offering 0% interest rates? Demand minus 15%. My SSN has been compromised. Tell them I never had one, but demand they get me one. They always get very angry and hang up. The amount of fake calls I get dropped from daily to zero very quickly, unfortunately. I miss it. I have to try this. Back when Heather from accounts services was getting bad the first time, I would hit one then chant blood, blood, blood in a dead voice until they hung up. Yav reaches the Texas Roadkill Grill. Hot and tender and right off the fender. What do I need? Once at exactly 12:01 January 1st we received a phone call. The person on the other end screamed Happy Jamaican New Year at the top of their lungs and hung up. That is forever our greeting for unknown numbers. Happy Jamaican New Year, mon. Just repeat everything they say back to them until they hang up. This is the evilest thing I can imagine. This is the evilest thing I can imagine. This is the evilest thing I can imagine. But if they say we can offer you N% interest rates, always say we can offer you N1% interest rates. They say we'll give you $150 if you sign up. All we need is your bank account details. You say $151 instead. I found Michael Scott. In a vile accent, Taliban taxes, our drivers will blow you away, or Battersea Dogs Home Euthanasia Clinic. This is Karen, I already told you. They won't find the body, and then just go silent. I do a really good line in sounding like an automatic switchboard. Please press 1 for X. 2 for X, 3 for X. The amount of them that actually press the buttons is hilarious. Should mention that I'm British and slightly evil. Yorkshire Roadkill Society, you splat M we fry M. Yorkshire Roadkill Society, you clap M we slap M, or you squish M we fish M. That you picked up on this one is concerning, lol. Answer the phone in Russian. So far they have never been able to properly reply, as I live in America and they expect whoever picks up the phone to speak English. Dean. This is exactly what I want to do next time I get a spam call. Being Russian has never come in so handy. I've done this but in German. It's hysterical. Me and my friend would each take our phone to dial up to random numbers and make them have a conversation with each other. I've had some decent reactions from a terse make it quick, I'm poopin'. I'm not even a jokester, but I will start speaking Romanian whenever I answer spam calls, because unknown calls are usually just spam. My father-in-law just hands the phone to the nearest grandchild under 4. It's awesome. My nephew once seriously introduced himself as Batman. My mom used to do that back in the good old landline days with my little sister. She was quite the talker, so she would go on and on about her day and whatever, so eventually the telemarketers would just get fed up and hang up. This is by far the best one. He'll pretend to be a call center salesman that is trying to sell encyclopedias in order to feed my family and see how long I can drag it out for. Fraud division. How may I help you? It's done but there's blood everywhere. You're gonna need to get Mike out here. Breaking Bad reference? Not really, but record a mailbox intro saying hello. This is, many will not hear the beep and start talking back. I had something like that as my voicemail for years, and it was hilarious. Started it with hey what's up, followed by 10 seconds of silence, then gave an MHM to make them think I was still there, then another long pause, and finally a lol JK, this is a voicemail. Please leave a message. I got my dad with it once, and he got ludicrously mad and made me change it lol. For a while my voicemail would say, you've reached the North Shore Psychic Detective Agency. We know who you are and what you want, so at the beep please hang up. My GF did this by accident because she thought she had to state her name and the mailbox would implement this recording of her into a preset message. 50-year-old plus people didn't get it, and so her parents and grandmother always fell for it. She didn't bother changing it though lol. For my voicemail message, I had myself saying hello, is anyone there? Just kidding, leave a message. I had to change it after a few increasingly angry messages from mom. Joe's Abortion Clinic and Pizzeria. Your loss is a source. How may I help you? Then if they act offended or utterly confused, I'd say, hey, we can either make you a pie or scrape your pie. What's it gonna be? Could you hold the line please and just leave it until they hang up? I do Patrick's voice from when he worked at the Krusty Krab. Hello, is this Victoria? No, this is Patrick, works amazingly. My name is Patrick and I used to work with this super weird guy who would say, is this the Krusty Krab? Literally every time he saw me and just stare at me in silence till I replied appropriately. Got pretty old after a few times lol. In my thickest Indian accent, thank you for calling support. Main army's Boljik. Hey Omar, I help you. City morgue. You stab em, we slab em. On two occasions I got into a passionate debate about Pokemon strategy with a cold call scammer. I need the story. Oh, it's some guy who introduced themselves as Windows not Microsoft, saying my computer was putting out a lot of errors. I knew this scam, so I just called them out on it and talked about Pokemon. This went on for about 30 minutes before he got bored and quit. Another guy, a more legitimate scam, selling essential oils. I called him out on it, and since he mentioned video games, subject changed to hobbies. I started about Pokemon, and we talked for like 2 hours. BTW, sad twist, I got a ton of ads for the next couple months after that. I guess I must have let my guard down during the Pokemon chat and let slip some personal information. Always keep a guard up. Very nice, very nice. Fraud department, this is Detective Spencer. How may I route your call? Ring me, is Bob there? Them, what? Me, what? Them, what? Me. Sorry, I think I have the wrong number. I've never gone wrong answering the phone that way. Sometimes I do it, even when I know who's calling me. You are caller number 531 in the call queue, then play the most irritating background music imaginable. Have you disposed of the bodies already? UHH. I don't even know where to start with you. I mean, do you have any idea who I am? Basically, kind of a big deal. You listening? Okay, birds fly, grass grows, sun shines, and brother, I hurt people. I'm a force of nature. If you were from where I was from, yeah BFHKING dead. WOOO. Accuse them of dishonoring my religion. I hate it when I get my period while playing tennis. Yes, hello? You pretend like you're talking with someone else, so you talk with the phone slightly away from your mouth and then drop that line. Gets people every time, especially because I'm a guy. Caller number 4, you're on the air. Keep Indian scammers on the line for a little prank and to waste their time, to not scam other people. Welcome to Domino's, how may I help you? You've reached the psychiatric ward for the criminally insane, how may I help you? Kermit voice, never fails. I make up a language and just go dive. I yelled to me fell down the toilet. Drake's pulling him out. If it's a scam for insurance after a car crash. Caller, hi, this is Ian from the agency. I heard about the accident. Me. Oh yes, do you want to hear about it? Caller, okay, me. After eating Burger King, I drove down the motorway bridge highway and everything was okay. Then I spotted a coin on the floor and bent down to grab it. The force of me bending over made a small nugget fall out of my pants and fly out the window. It hit a car and caused a major accident. Caller size hangs up.